Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're talking about the 10 biggest mistakes that owners make when it comes to their guinea pig's diet. And I just want to say there's no judgment here, okay? I've seen a lot of these examples shared around the internet and on certain social media platforms where they receive a lot of abuse, and that's just not the attitude we're going for here on the channel, okay? I've been there, we've all been there, we've all made mistakes, and it's about learning and improving as we go forward. So let's find out what they are and how to fix them. First up, and we can't really talk about guinea pig diet at all without mentioning hay, because not having enough hay or giving poor quality hay is one of the most common mistakes out there. Guinea pigs need fresh, unlimited hay 24 hours of the day. It makes up 90% of their diet, and they really need it to keep their digestive system functioning and to wear those back molars down. So just putting a little handful here, sprinkling a bit there, or even having it all tied up in hay racks is not enough. Our pigs will naturally forage through, they'll pick out all of their best bits, meaning they just won't eat every single strand. And that's normal for them, but they'll eat even less if that hay is poor quality or dusty or even moldy. And I have had it before where I've bought a bag of hay new from the pet shop only to get home and find it's covered in mold. And you can tell instantly because of that musty old smell. And the quality of hay varies from the get-go as well. So what's the answer? As you'll see in our cage, I use hay racks as well as these big litter trays for my piggies. They're changed daily and they're topped up throughout the day, so I don't necessarily need to worry about them being the place where the guinea pigs are also peeing and pooping. I use basic meadow hay from a local farm paired with a high quality Timothy hay, which is sort of the gold standard of piggy hays. Really high in fibre, low calcium, and most importantly, they love it. What are we gonna have? We're gonna have some scattered around here. Penelope! Next up is their dry pelleted food, and new owners especially often make the mistake of getting those muesli style mixes. Now these types can lead to selective feeding, they lack vitamin C, and they contain unsafe and fattening ingredients like sunflower seeds and dried fruits, as well as, let's be honest, a whole bunch of unpleasant additives and colourings. So the fix is to go for a plain pellet made just for guinea pigs with added vitamin C, and I will put some recommended brands on the screen. However, what a lot of people aren't aware of is that even these aren't perfect. They often contain a lot of low-cost filler ingredients used to bulk them out, such as soy, wheat, corn, molasses, and sometimes alfalfa meal. And these ingredients don't really offer our guinea pigs much nutritional value, and if fed in excess, they'll just fill our guinea pigs up and stop them from eating that all-important hay. Overfeeding pellets can also cause obesity and is thought to increase the risk of developing bladder stones. That said, they do round out the diet and provide some important vitamins and nutrients, so I'd recommend going for a good brand and feeding them in moderation. We're talking 10 to 15 grams a pig per day rather than the 30 to 40 grams you might see recommended on the back of the pack. Moving on to fresh food, and there are a few mistakes to be had here too. And a common one is feeding too many gas-producing vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, and Brussels sprouts, which all belong to the brassica family. Contrary to some online sources, guinea pigs can and do fart, but they do suffer from bloating caused by too much gas. So I like to think of a guinea pig's digestive system like a conveyor belt at a factory. Food is processed and packaged up into hundreds of neat little poops every single day. But the minute someone introduces something unexpected to that conveyor belt, such as some big gas-filled balloons, the conveyor belt could get blocked, malfunction, and maybe even stop altogether. Bloating can cause pain and make our guinea pigs stop eating. So that's not to say don't ever feed these veggies, just be aware that they are for occasional consumption only. Maximum 2 to 3 times a week in small portions only, reducing if you suspect any side effects like soft poops in your piggies. Non-gassy alternatives good for daily feeding are things like bell pepper, cucumber, and lettuces. Let's stick with the veggies. Our second veggie mistake is one that's all too easy to fall into, and it's feeding too many high calcium veggies. So whilst calcium is important, too much of it can lead to bladder sludge or stones in guinea pigs. Piggies are predisposed to this because of how they process calcium. All excess calcium in their diet is absorbed, it goes to the kidneys, and it's lost through their urine, often seen as those white marks left behind on cage liners and pads. This is not like other animals, including us, who can limit the amount of calcium that's absorbed in the first place. Also, our piggies unfortunately naturally have very alkaline urine, which sort of creates ideal conditions for calcium to bind with other molecules and form crystals, which can grow into stones over time. A bit of a long explanation, I know, but it does help to be aware of some of the background science behind this. And it basically means that high calcium veggies like spinach, parsley, kale, spring greens, dill, dandelion leaves should be fed sparingly, so we're thinking a small amount only a few times a week. And obviously not all dietary calcium comes from veggies. Pellets, some types of hay, and the water your piggies drink can all have an effect. Want some dried veggies? Yes. I'm gonna sound like a massive hypocrite on this next one. It is tempting to spoil our piggies with treats, especially when pet shops have entire shelves full of cute, colourful snacks claiming to be healthy, but giving too many treats is one of the biggest traps owners can fall into. Because the truth is, most commercial guinea pig treats contain a lot of additives, grains, and sugars. Even ones that say hay-based or timothy-based might contain only a small amount of hay, with the rest made up of those fillers like oat flour and molasses, similar to the pellets, except treats aren't really designed to supplement the range of vitamins and nutrients that pellets do. Bear in mind your piggies will love a bit of fresh bell pepper instead, or enjoy some natural forages sprinkled into their hay. But sometimes it is handy to have a little dried snack to hand, such as for taming or maybe for nail clipping. So if you do opt for some treats, get into the habit of checking the ingredients yourself and deciding whether you think they sound healthy. For example, single ingredient treats like small pieces of dried carrot and pea flakes are still enjoyed by our herd. Next up we have water, and it is surprisingly important in your diet, our diet, their diet. So not providing enough water or not changing it often is a very big problem when it comes to guinea pig care. Guinea pigs are notoriously picky drinkers, which is another factor that can affect bladder stones. So dirty water can put them off drinking and lead to dehydration, which can lead to urinary problems. The fix is obvious, right? It's to keep that water fresh, and I mean change it every single day or more often if it needs it. I also recommend, and have been recommended by my vets, to offer more than one type of water, so water from a bottle as well as from bowls. Some piggies prefer one over the other, and giving them options can help them drink more. Also, going back to the calcium thing, if you live in a hard water area, so where there's a high amount of calcium in the water, it's recommended to use filtered or low calcium bottled water to reduce the risk of those bladder stones. Another common mistake is not checking whether foods are safe for your guinea pigs in the first place. It's better to be safe than sorry, and some plants and vegetables are toxic, so don't get it wrong. Examples of dangerous veggies are things like onions, leeks, garlic, chives, potato leaves, the leaves and the stem of tomato plants, and rhubarb. And then you have a lot of wild plants which can be poisonous too, like foxglove and ivy. And if you're picking grass for your guinea pigs, never use the clippings from the mower, because the grass ferments as soon as it's cut and it can make them poorly. One of the first things we learn about guinea pigs is that they can't produce their own vitamin C, just like us. But this often leads to the mistake of automatically assuming that every guinea pig on the planet needs artificial vitamin C supplements in order to not be deficient. Several problems with this. Firstly, artificial sources of vitamin C are often less bioavailable, meaning they're not absorbed as effectively as natural ones. And secondly, a lot of people add it to the water bottles, but vitamin C breaks down really quickly in water. And not only that, you can have artificial sugars and sweeteners and added stuff that put your guinea pig off drinking the water, and we already know how important hydration is for them. So the fix is to stick to the natural route. Use us humans as an example. We can't make our own vitamin C either, but we don't load up on supplements unless we need to. A varied diet that's rich in fresh vegetables, along with a good quality guinea pig pellet that includes extra vitamin C, is usually more than enough vitamin C for your piggies. There are exceptions though, so maybe in young guinea pigs that are struggling to grow as quickly as their peers, or maybe old guinea pigs where their health is declining, then you might choose to supplement vitamin C just to support their immune system. However, in an otherwise healthy, fully grown adult guinea pig, giving artificial vitamin C is really not necessary as long as you're feeding them a good selection of vegetables. It's always exciting to introduce something new to your guinea pigs, such as the first fresh spring grass of the year or a new veggie that they've never tried before. But this can lead to a common mistake, which is changes in their diet too quickly. So back to that guinea pig conveyor belt with the poops coming out the end, running like a smooth factory line. Again, if you throw in something new too quickly or too much of something that's not expected, things might slow down, they might get blocked, they might even grind to a halt. So a really common one is fresh spring grass, especially when grass has just started growing. It's so lush, it actually contains a higher concentration of natural sugars in there, and a big influx of these on your guinea pig's digestive system conveyor belt can unbalance it and make them feel poorly. So the fix is to introduce any new foods gradually. Start with just a small piece, see how they handle it, and build it up slowly. Another example, for instance, is if you want to change over your guinea pig's pellets. You shouldn't just take away the old ones and pile in the new ones. You should try and do it gradually so it's not a shock to their system. I see a lot of people sharing photos of their guinea pigs and saying, "Help, I think they're obese," which does make me giggle because I mean, guinea pigs are very round naturally, and I can see why some people might get worried and think, oh my gosh, my guinea pig's just fat. However, this is actually very unlikely. Our guinea pigs are eating a very low calorie diet. They have to eat a lot to maintain their health, and it's far more likely for a guinea pig to be losing weight than gaining too much more than their body can handle. So if you are worried about weight, whether that's gaining it or losing it, what you really want to be doing is weighing your guinea pig every week and keeping a record of any changes. Up until they're about 8 months to a year old, when they're fully grown, they should gradually be gaining weight. They might plateau at some points, which is fine, and then they should maintain a steady weight until they're sort of older than maybe 4 years old, or if they have a health problem, they can notch down in weight and then struggle to put that weight back on, which is also quite normal. So along with weighing them, you should also give them health checks and kind of assess their overall body condition. If you really are concerned that your guinea pig is fat, maybe they weigh over 1,300 grams, then have a good feel of them. You should be able to tell that they've got ribs there. You should be able to feel their spine. It might not be obvious. You should be able to feel their hip bones slightly protruding through, that is a sign that your guinea pig is carrying a normal amount of weight and that's a healthy weight for them. If those bones are protruding more than they should be and they're quite low on weight, then you should be concerned and thinking about taking them to the vet because they might have a health problem. If you really can't feel those bones even under all the hair, then yes, you might have an overweight piggy. So you could look at reducing their pellets, but really you do want to consult with an exotics vet on this first, because being overweight can also be a result of some health issues, including thyroid problems and other hormonal problems. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you are making any of these mistakes, don't feel bad. Now, hopefully you have the knowledge to change and improve things for your guinea pigs. And if you're looking for ways to increase the diversity of fresh food in your guinea pig's diet, then I recommend watching this video next, where my guinea pigs are trying out new foods, and we are going to be doing more in this series, by the way. But don't worry, they're not trying too much at once. Okay everyone, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye!